Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I actually really wanted to focus on the Daryl Dixon spinoff because no one's really talking about this spinoff like at all. Like a lot of the focus is on Dead City, yeah, which makes sense because the show is coming out in like 2 months. But there's also so much focus on Rick and Michonne because they're currently filming, which I mean, obviously that's Rick and Michonne. So people are going to be focusing a lot on those characters because they're huge fan favorites, right? But Daryl Dixon, like, obviously a really big character, but no one's talking about this show right now. So I kind of wanted to do a video talking about, the latest updates and all of this. I want to talk about some of, what's going to be coming out this year for this show, when we should probably expect some new information, and then get into some storyline stuff. So yeah, before going any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Now, this show it's very interesting because, obviously I was going through quite a bit of stuff for quite a while, and I mean, I'm still currently going through stuff, but a lot of the, dramatic part of it is obviously over. And I remember seeing a lot of updates for this show. And I mean, I was just, personally going through a lot that I would see an update, but I wouldn't really look into it too much. Like I would just be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I'll eventually get around to it once I feel better, kind of thing, right? And I just never did. And there was a lot of information that just sort of came and went. And one of them was the fact that the show is apparently called Raise the Dead. Now, I've seen a lot of people, I brought this up in a previous video where I said, I don't know where this came from. And I saw a lot of people in the comments saying, oh, it's real. Like, that's what the show is going to be called. I haven't seen any official confirmation. I still don't know where this came from at all. Like, I haven't seen anything online that has officially said this or that. And again, I don't really know if that's what the show is actually called. But I will say if that is the title, I do like the title. Like, it does work. Like, I guess it would be called The Walking Dead, Raise the Dead kind of thing. And I guess I would say in terms of that title and how it could relate to the story, I do kind of like it, I guess. If the story is going to be something like whoever, the ultimate villain is of this show kind of thing, has more of this fascination with the dead. And they focus a lot on that and the mutation or the mutated zombies, right? Because obviously the zombies, or sorry, walkers in this show are going to be the fast, very aggressive walkers, right? Like they're running and stuff. So there's clearly a difference, and I do wonder if the CRM are located there, if there is like another leader in France working with the CRM sort of thing, but there's something else entirely. I wonder if there is this fascination in making these more, aggressive variant walkers, because I think that could be something that honestly would be really fascinating with the story, and I think could really cause or create a lot of intrigue, I think, for a lot of people. Like I know certain people that they want The Walking Dead to get into some of that stuff, and I see it from the fan base, like as soon as they got into that variant walker, it was kind of a variant walker because they could climb walls and turn doorknobs and stuff in season 11. With the Whisperers, when it seemed like they were talking, because I know some people didn't know of the comic, they thought the walkers were starting to talk kind of thing. I saw a lot of people actually very interested in just that state of just what that would do to our characters. Because I've always said with The Walking Dead, they've always been really amazing at creating, really well-established characters and then making fans and making people really relate to those characters, relate with them. And you can almost put yourself in their positions and be like, oh, so this is what it would be like. And I would say towards the later seasons of The Walking Dead, that realism really kind of went away a bit, right? Like earlier on, it really felt real. It felt like this could happen to any of us. And then later on, it got very comic booky, where I mean you could sort of relate with the characters still because of their origins and stuff like that, but there was this whole comic book element where it just started to not feel as real, right? But I would say overall The Walking Dead, I think, later on, especially with the Commonwealth, I think with the Whisperers, they really grounded themselves again. I think the Whisperer arc really showed what you can do if you ground yourself in what made The Walking Dead work really well, which was just that reality, like the realness of the world. And I think the Commonwealth arc kind of got a little bit, silly again, because I think the Savior arc got a little silly, especially with Shiva and stuff like that. But it happened in the comics, so they had to sort of do it. During the Commonwealth arc, obviously they had to do the same thing, but I do think they still made it as real as they could. Like it did still feel as grounded, but they're taking comic book material, so they have to do as much as they can with that, right? But something like that in terms of, for the Daryl Dixon show, if it is called Raise the Dead, focusing on zombies, and if they are changing and stuff like that, if there is somebody who, I mean, just think of Wesker in Resident Evil, right? Like, if you had somebody like that, essentially, I'm not saying go as crazy as, you know, Wesker in Resident Evil, because I know by Resident Evil 5 it got very ridiculous. I'm just saying, like, if you had somebody like that and you kind of grounded the story a lot more, I think that would be really cool. I think I would really like that. And I think if the title is Raise the Dead, I mean, it kind of works, in my opinion. It really does work. And so, you know, this show, I think it's interesting because I think this show can honestly be one of the better shows. Like, Rick and Michonne, you know, obviously we're all going to think it's so amazing and stuff, but like, what if it's not? You know, what if Daryl Dixon ends up being the much better show? Like, we're going to have to wait and see, obviously. And a year from now, we'll have watched all 3 shows, so we can kind of see. There might be more seasons, but I'm just saying, like, comparing the first seasons of each show. But with the Daryl Dixon show, I'm very hyped for this. I do think they wrapped filming already. I'm pretty sure they've finished filming season 1. I think in the last month they finished. So that's really interesting. Definitely, for sure, we are going to be getting a trailer for this show at Comic-Con. I really do believe that this show is likely to premiere in October. I think it makes a lot of sense based off of the filming schedule of Dead City, because Dead City, I believe, wrapped up filming in like November or something last year. That show's not even coming out until June. Well, you know, if Daryl Dixon wrapped up in March, then, you know, it coming out in October or something like that makes a lot of sense. And I think they also want something to come out in October, right? Like, AMC is going to want some type of Walking Dead content to come out in October, because that's just, I think, where it does the best. I mean, I don't know their numbers, but I'm assuming that's where it does the best, because there's just something for me personally. When it's fall, it's October, there's a new Walking Dead season, it's just amazing. And so, you know, I think, or at least I am hoping, they save that for that time, because I couldn't imagine an October without any new Walking Dead show. I think it would feel so off. So I'm expecting a trailer at Comic-Con, and then we'll have our usual 2-3 month wait or whatever until the show premieres in October. It'll be for 6 episodes, probably, you know, finish airing early November, or maybe, no, I just looked it up. Halloween's going to be on a Tuesday this year. So yeah, never mind. I was going to say, what if they just hold the show until October 31st if that was on a Sunday, but no, it's not. That would have been amazing. But no, I think the show's premiere date will probably be like October 8th or October 15th or something like that. This show, I think, is going to be something that a lot of fans like a lot, because I think with Dead City, you know, I think fans are going to like it because of them going to New York. But I also think the story, at least in terms of just what we've seen so far, is going to feel a lot like season 11 of The Walking Dead, with obviously some, I guess, better changes, because you're focusing just on 2 main characters. Whereas I think on The Walking Dead, just the cast was so massive, you had to focus on all the side characters, right? Like, I mean, they were even ignoring characters. The cast got so big. So I think for Dead City, people are going to really enjoy that part of it. You know, they're just focusing on those 2 main characters who are going to be in each episode. They're going to be in every single episode and get a lot of screen time. So I think that's going to be an awesome part of it, especially because they're based in New York and stuff. But the Daryl Dixon show, it's just, there's something about that show as of now, because of, you know, I call them Jenner's zombies. They're not actual, like, they're not his zombies. He never created them, but, you know, he's the one who taught us of the new variant zombie, right? And that aspect to it, that makes me so excited for that show, because I think this show could actually really bring the fear back to The Walking Dead, right? It could actually do something there where people actually feel like this is a really scary world. And I hope they touch on that. I really do. Because it's something that, like, it's real. Like, it's there. This show is called The Walking Dead, right? Or it's in that universe. You can make this really terrifying. And there has been some episodes where we've seen them do that. You know, Connie's standalone episode. That was an amazing episode, just to actually have Connie and Virgil in that house trying to survive. I'm really hyped for this. I really feel like, I don't know, maybe if the title is Raise the Dead, and maybe because I referenced Wesker, I'm getting this like Resident Evil vibe from the Daryl Dixon show. And maybe it's because I just played Resident Evil 4, so I'm sort of, you know, I'm equating Daryl to like being Leon or something like that. But like, you know how cool that would be if they kind of went for a tone like that? I think that would be really awesome, because he is going to meet a new group, you know, like he's going to go there. He's going to wonder why he's there. How did I get here? He's going to try and leave. But he's going to find new people. It's going to make it harder for him to leave. And I think, you know, story-wise, that makes a lot of sense. I think when you're coming up with this story and you want to have Daryl in France, you're the number one question is like, well, he's going to have to leave France because like he gets there, but he's going to want to go back home. So how do you make him not go home? Well, it's very simple. I think as a writer, you're just like, well, we'll make him meet new people. You know, he'll run into new people. And then from there, he'll just be like, well, I got to help these people out. I can't really leave. And I think story wise, that's fine. It's a very easy thing to do. And it's not even, I don't even want to say easy. It's something that I think is very common in a lot of stories. It's just that I think you got to make us fans feel like these new characters are worth sticking around for, right? Because I even go back to season 1 of The Walking Dead. Sure, I guess Lori and Carl were with, you know, the Atlanta camp group, but like Rick could have taken Lori and Carl and just went somewhere else, right? But there was something about the group and then being there and surviving that one night together and all that. There's just something about all of that that made them a family over time. And so I think if Daryl's going to meet these new people, we do need to get that element to it. We do need to kind of feel like, yeah, like you have to help them. And also just us as fans, we have to feel like these characters are really cool. Like they're awesome characters and you want them to be a part of the story, right? So this show right now is in post-production. I guess they'll probably be working on that for quite a while. Like we're going to get a trailer, you know, in July for sure. We're going to see probably a lot of stuff beforehand too, like little sneak peeks, teaser trailers, images like that, interviews and stuff. There's going to be so much stuff that drops in June. In terms of stuff before that, I think there could be random photos, announcements, casting, stuff like that. But I think right now we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff for Fear over the next month, and then also Dead City as well. So yeah, Daryl Dixon, you know, I think this show's going to be great. Season 2, I'm sure, is happening. And yeah, if it's my guess as of now in terms of where this story is going to go, I don't think he returns to America in season 1. I think Carol is going to go to France to find him. And that's a big part here of just like this show in general is, you know, all of these characters have these spin-offs and stuff. What about Carol? Because Carol is such a big character as well. She needs to be in one of these spin-offs, right? I mean, at this point, just because of the stuff that Norman Reedus was saying about Melissa McBride and working together and, you know, she's awesome and stuff, I really do think she's going to be in season 2. I think that, you know, season 1 could end with a cliffhanger, a post-credit scene of Carol or something. Like, they could do something like that. I think that'd be really awesome. Maybe we see Carol, you know, in a boat and going across to France, or I guess technically she would be arriving in France or something like that. And maybe we see her on the shore or something, right? I think that would be really cool. Just teasing that, okay, there's going to be a season 2 and she's there now. So, you know, Carol fans, just everyone would be so hyped to see her back, right? In season 2. I think you need it. I really do think you need it. Carol is such a great character. I mean, she's an original character, right? And I think that obviously Melissa McBride had some personal stuff that she was dealing with. She couldn't film for whatever reasons. I mean, it's not my place to get into that. That's her whole thing, right? And if she's willing to come back, if she wants to for season 2, I you know, just as a fan of Carol, I'd be so excited for that. Honestly, that would be amazing just to see those two characters interact again. And it depends on where the story is for season 1 as well. That's a big thing. Like, you got to remember, this is after watching 6 episodes of Daryl going through a lot of stuff over there in France, and then for Carol to show up at the end. And it would be a teaser for something to happen in season 2, which wouldn't come out probably until 2024, right? So I think it would just be really exciting. And I guess it does suck overall, I would say, you know, for Carol fans, because like out of all the characters, of course, like you have to wait so long to see that character again. But I will say, I guess, you know, in terms of fans waiting to see certain characters, I mean, I guess Rick technically has been the longest, right? Like he left the show years ago, almost 5 years ago now, and you know we're seeing stuff now. I guess we did see him technically in the finale, but yeah. Anyways, I'm very excited. I think Carol would be a really awesome addition to this show. I think honestly she would do wonders just in terms of the fan base being very excited. And I think there's a lot more that you can tell with that character. There's a lot more things that you're able to do. I mean, she went through a lot before the apocalypse, right? Like she went through a lot, and we've seen her grow throughout the entire show. You know, just sort of thinking about it though, like Carol is one of those characters that has really, like, I think she might have had like the craziest story on that show. just you know, going back to who she was in season 1 and then who she eventually became in season 11, right? Even though I do still have issues with her story for season 7 and 8, like I really do. I think for season 7 it was okay, but in season 8 it was like her and Morgan switch stories. You know, that's the part that I didn't like, because in season 7 they were both arguing, and then in season 8 they both basically switched ideas and or just beliefs, and it just got to the point where I was like, this just makes no sense at all. But again, that's problems with season 7 and 8 in general. I don't think it has anything to do with the characters. I mean, they're given the scripts and stuff, right? So they just sort of follow along with the story that they're given. But I just, yeah, I'm excited for Carol to come back. You know, it does seem like it is going to happen. Yeah, it's been really weird. Yes, we've gotten a lot of stuff for The Walking Dead, but it's still been very weird to not get any sort of like official new Walking Dead episode yet, because the last one we watched was in November, and usually we have something out by February, but it's April 3rd now and there's been nothing. And usually right now the mid-season finales for a lot of these shows are just ending, but right now we have absolutely nothing, and we're just sort of waiting, I guess, another month, and then we have Fear, right? But anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post your thoughts down below. Do you think Carol's gonna play a big role in season 2 of the Daryl Dixon show? Also, what do you think the show is gonna be about? Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.